So the new bosses here are probably one of the most broken cheese strats in the game so far, in my opinion, and Bunny doesn't even need it to absolutely destroy Defiler. You can see the infinite mid-air grapple strat in action in the background right now. As you can see, it's completely absurd and will probably get nerfed, but don't worry about that because the build I have for you today can already kill Defiler with no issues at all in less than 2 minutes. You can see a full non-cheese kill at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Now, that 0 damage screenshot in the thumbnail is real, but it is obviously kind of clickbait. You're almost always going to take a little bit of damage from, like, just chip damage, of course. Now, that said, that kill happened on stream, so if you want to see it, I'll have it time-stamped in the comments below if you want to see it for yourself. But let's get into the actual build. Now, first, let's quickly go over the infinite air grapple setup. It's pretty simple, but you do need to be at least mastery rank 18 to have access to the weapon core system and progress to the final levels of void erosion for access to the tier 6 and preferably tier 7 cores. Now, I'm using Peacemaker for this setup, but you don't have to. But it is a fantastic weapon for this. It has 2 precision core slots by default, and of course you have the 3rd generic slot as well, allowing for a total of 3 precision cores on the weapon if you really want to. Now, you really only need around 30 to 35% reduction to have a pretty comfy time. You'll have to space out your jumps a little bit to make sure you don't fall too much, but it's pretty comfy overall. But I've gone all the way up to 50% just to make it completely brain dead, and I don't have to worry about it at all. It basically just plays itself, right? Now, it's entirely unnecessary. Just make sure you get at least 30% or so, and you should be fine. Again, as long as you remember to space out your jumps. Now, in my opinion, this most likely will get nerfed. Just keep that in mind before you invest too much into it, especially since you really don't need this much. You don't need this cheese at all for this build. This build already completely stomps Defiler even without this. All right, now getting to the Bunny build, it's a pretty standard non-crit Bunny build. It is a bit on the tanky side because I am using the Slayer set. So, kind of build a little bit of extra survivability to make up for that, but the Slayer set provides more damage than any other mod that I could, fit in on the build, could even come close to providing, right? So, pretty standard electric amplification, singular amplification, electric master, and singular specialist. You could replace singular specialist for focus on singular if you want truly complete 100% uptime on lightning emission. I am running Battle of Stamina to get that little bit of extra and a little bit of HP as well. Personally, I highly recommend this. It's only a 0.2 second downtime. You really won't notice it. And it does provide a lot of extra survivability. Then I've got Spear and Shield for some extra defense. Honestly, the defense doesn't really matter that much, but you do get 8% skill power. So, it's like 10% or so more survivability, I think. And you get 8% more skill power. So it's pretty good overall. Obviously, you're going to want maximize range and skill expansion, or else, you're going to have to stick really close to the enemies, and you really don't want that. And of course, increased HP. Now, the last mod slot here is a bit up for debate. I usually run Dangerous Ambush here when I'm killing bosses with this build, because, it's a good chunk of extra damage. But you could also run, Energy Collection for better, energy from Health Orbs. You could run MP Collector, although it's not that good in Colossus battles. So if you're going to run one of these, I would really recommend Energy Collection. This can be pretty nice if you're struggling with MP gain. Either one, it really doesn't make that big of a difference. You're not going to get that much damage out of Dangerous Ambush, especially in a solo Colossus encounter. So, you're going to get some bonus while the Colossus is down, but you only get one or two downs per the 2-minute run. It's really not going to make a significant difference overall. It is just a nice little bit of extra damage every once in a while. Now, moving on to your external components, pretty simple here. Max HP, max MP, MP recovery in combat, defense, MP recovery modifier, shield, double shield here. You can also run Toxin here if you really want. It doesn't really make that big of a difference, to be honest. You do really want a good Slayer set for this. If you don't have a good Slayer set, or you just don't want to run the Slayer set, you could just run any sort of generic set here that you want. It really doesn't matter that much. You'll have worse kill times than I do, but you'll probably still kill in less than 3 minutes. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. You don't have to have the Slayer set like some people might tell you you do. It is just some nice extra damage, and as a nice bonus, if you don't run the Slayer set, you will be significantly tankier. So whenever you do happen to take damage, which to be fair, it won't be that often, you will be even harder to kill than you already are with this current setup. Now, for your reactor, obviously you want an electric singular reactor, and you make sure you've got an optimization condition matching whichever weapon that you want to pair the build with. If you're using the infinite air setup, make sure you didn't forget to put it on. Now, for your substats, additional skill attack when attacking with Colossus, obviously this is really the only stats that's going to make an absolutely huge difference in your damage output. Singular skill power, boost ratio, or electric skill power boost ratio are the other stat you're looking for. Ideally, a nice little bit of extra damage, not mandatory by any means. If you'd rather run towards some sort of utility stat like duration or range, that's also perfectly fine. Just you really want to make sure you've got additional attack against Colossus, of course, right? And, upgrade it as much as you can. Don't worry too much about getting it maxed out. I know it's really expensive. I haven't maxed out a single reactor yet because of how expensive it is. It is what it is. You don't have to be super insanely optimized to absolutely curb stomp this boss. It really doesn't require it at all. All right, now before we get to the gameplay footage for the non-cheese kill the build, I do quickly want to thank, currently the one member, Crusader Sam, for your continued support. I know it's been a long time since I made a video, and I do really want to apologize for that. I just got really burnt out on making videos a while back, and I've just been focusing on streaming. But I really enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I hope you guys found it helpful. I want to make more videos like this in the future, and not try to force myself to put out a video every other day so I don't get burned out like I did before. But I definitely want to make more videos like this, and bring you guys some really good builds that are a bit more nuanced in terms of either being really bad or being kind of one-shot glass cannon meme builds, right? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now let's get into the Defiler non-cheese gameplay footage.
Let's